LeBron's first run in Cleveland was electric because he was LeBron. But what if he had a real sidekick? A pure scorer with a clip so deep you'd think he'd pack one off the court as well. The Cavs didn't need a rebuild, not with a generational talent on day one. So why not sign a 22-year-old most improved player putting up 18 points per game? Why not pair LeBron James with Gilbert Arenas and start chasing rings right away? LeBron's rookie year played out just as well as it did in real life, but this time his scoring dipped slightly with Gilbert Arenas alongside him. LeBron still averaged exactly 20 points per game, while Gil edged him out with 21 and 9. The two proved they could coexist, forming a deadly 1-2 punch that instantly raised Cleveland's ceiling. The Cavs finished 40 and 42, 5 wins better than their real-life record, enough to sneak into the playoffs in LeBron's first season. In the first round, they faced the defending Eastern Conference champs, the New Jersey Nets. Despite being underdogs, the young duo managed to steal a game before falling at 5. Still, it was a crucial learning experience for the two rising stars. Meanwhile, over in Washington, without Gil, the Wizards bottomed out, finishing with the worst record in the league and landing the number 1 pick, Dwight Howard. That changed the entire draft order. Orlando ended up selecting Ben Gordon and Chicago took Devin Harris. And with Cleveland's improved record, they moved down in the draft and landed J.R. Smith at 15, adding him to the Cavs' young core. In their second year together, LeBron and Gil both took huge leaps forward. LeBron averaged 26 a game and Gil wasn't far behind with 25. The pair quickly became one of the most dangerous scoring duos in the league, maybe even the best. The Cavs jumped out to 52 wins, solidifying themselves as one of the most exciting young teams in the NBA. They were no longer an afterthought in the East. In the first round of the playoffs, they faced off against the Philadelphia 76ers, led by Allen Iverson. Iverson averaged 33 a game, but the Cavs' dynamic duo was too much. The Cavs dominated the 76ers in 5 games, with LeBron and Gil combining for over 50 points per game in the series. In the second round, the Cavs went up against the defending NBA champions, the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons' defense was stifling, and they shut down LeBron and Arenas like no one had before. Once again, the Cavs managed to steal one game, but ultimately fell in 5. Due to the changes in the East standings, somehow, the Portland Trail Blazers were the big winners, jumping up to the number 1 pick and selecting Andrew Bogut. In their third season together, LeBron and Gilbert Arenas took the NBA by storm. They became the first duo in the modern era to both average 30 points per game in a season. LeBron dropped 30.7, while Gil followed closely behind with 30.2, leading the Cavs to a massive 60-win season. At just 21 and 24 years old, they were already title contenders in only their third year together. In the first round, they faced the Washington Wizards, led by a young Dwight Howard. Dwight's dominance in the paint wasn't enough to stop the unstoppable force that was LeBron and Gil. The duo took care of business and swept the Wizards with ease. Next, the Cavs were up against the defending Eastern Conference champions, the Detroit Pistons. The Cavs stole Game 2 on the road, won the next 2 at home, and closed out the series in 6 games, shocking the Pistons in a massive upset. Now the Cavs were in uncharted waters, the Eastern Conference Finals, and they were facing the Miami Heat. It was the matchup we never got to see in real life, LeBron vs Wade. Both stars went off, but Shaq's experience combined with Miami's veteran role players was just too much for the young Cavs. Despite an epic battle, the Heat took the series in 6 games. Although they lost to their eventual champions, the Cavs proved they were right there. In year 4, the Cavs had firmly established themselves as not just the contenders, but the favorites to come out of the East. With a 61 season, they clinched the first seed for the first time, and their dynamic duo was on fire. LeBron averaged 28 points while Gil put up 29, with LeBron focusing more on playmaking and defense. The Cavs were looking better than ever, and ready to take the next steps toward a championship. In the first round, they faced the 76ers, who had just traded away Allen Iverson, and they were depleted in talent. It was an easy sweep for the Cavs, moving them on to the second round, where they matched up with the Chicago Bulls, who had just swept the Miami Heat. The Cavs took care of business once again, and swept the Bulls, setting up a third straight showdown with the Detroit Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals. The series against Detroit was tied at 1 apiece in the last 2 years, but this time, Cleveland had home court advantage. This series played out like the previous 2, another 5-game battle, but this time, it was the Cavs who came out on top, securing their first ever trip to the NBA Finals. In the Finals, they met the San Antonio Spurs. San Antonio took Game 1 as the experience overwhelmed the Cavs, but LeBron delivered a massive performance in Game 2 to even the series. In Game 3, it was a Spurs blowout and the Cavs bought the ropes. But Gil wasn't shaken. He stepped up with a clutch 40-point performance in Game 4, taking back home court advantage and swinging the momentum. The Cavs carried that momentum into Games 5 and 6, winning both by over 10 points to secure their first ever NBA championship. LeBron and Gil had done it. they had both the first championship to Cleveland, and it looks like there's more where that came from. The 2007 NBA draft had some major league-altering moves. Portland no longer bad enough to jump to number 1, the Atlanta Hawks do instead, and just like the Trailblazers in real life, they take Greg Oden over Kevin Durant. And with the standings moving around slightly, the Sonics no longer take the small jump in the lottery either. Instead, the team that does is the New York Knicks, who finally have their next franchise player. Except they don't. The Bulls have their pick unprotected from the Eddie Curry trade, and now KD joins a 49-win Chicago Bulls team with a great defense but no number 1 scoring option, and the Sonics land Al Horford with the 3rd pick. In year 5, the Cavs look destined for a repeat, starting the year strong, but just 8 games in, disaster struck. Gilbert Arenas went down with a knee injury and missed nearly the whole season. J.R. Smith stepped up, averaging 15 points per game, but it wasn't smooth sailing. The chemistry was off, the offense wasn't the same, and they finished with 48 wins. In the first round, it was Cavs vs Wizards again. Dwight was still a beast, but didn't have much help. He managed to push the series to 6, but LeBron and the Cavs took him down. In round 2, they were up against the newly formed Big 3 in Boston. The Celtics were the heavy favorites, and with Gil being rusty and averaging under 20 points per game on bad efficiency, the pressure was on LeBron. He managed to drag the series to Game 7, but just like in real life, they came up short, falling by 5 points. The East was getting stronger, and the Celtics ended up as champs, but it wasn't just Cleveland that gave them problems. Another young squad took them to the distance as well. In the Eastern Conference Finals, right after the Cavs series, the 2008 NBA draft had some more changes. The Bulls were out of the lottery after making the playoffs with KD, so no hometown hero for them. The Nets jumped up and took Derrick Rose with the number 1 pick. OKC missed out again, first on KD and now Russ, and they could have taken him as well, but they decided to draft the better prospect OJ Mayer at 3, which allowed the Milwaukee Bucks to take Westbrook at 4. The 6th season for the Cavs played out similar to the last one, with Gil missing the entire season, leaving LeBron to carry once again. LeBron took home his first MVP as he led Cleveland to a franchise record 64 wins, despite the lack of a consistent second option. In the first round, they faced off against Philly once again, sweeping them without much of a fight. The second round brought a tougher matchup against the Atlanta Hawks, who were led by Greg Oden, the 1 year he was healthy. But despite Oden's presence in the paint, the Hawks still couldn't overcome LeBron's brilliance, and Cleveland won in 6 games. This time, however, the Eastern Conference Finals wasn't a matchup against the Celtics. Instead, Cleveland faced Chicago, who had managed to take the Celtics to 7 games the year prior. The Bulls, led by Kevin Durant, were a juggernaut, and without Gil, LeBron and the Cavs couldn't quite get past them. The Bulls went on to prevent the much-anticipated LeBron vs Kobe finals, but KD vs Kobe still made for an exciting matchup. The Bulls vs Lakers series was a bloodbath. Luol Deng was a menace on Kobe, but Kobe being Kobe, found a way to get his. KD showed out, but it wasn't enough. Both teams won their home games, and despite the fight, the Lakers took a 3-2 lead. In Game 6, Kobe closed it out, using his experience to subdue KD and secure the title. The 2009 draft had its own major changes. OKC got the first pick and selected Blake Griffin. The Knicks once again missed out on a superstar, taking Hasheem Thabeet over James Harden. But fate had a twist in store. Memphis, eager to move up, wanted Thabeet more than they wanted Harden, so they swapped pick with the Knicks, letting New York finally land their franchise player in Harden. The 2009-10 season was a make-it-or-break-it year for the Cleveland Cavaliers. After years of disappointment, Gilbert Arenas was finally healthy and back in the lineup. While he wasn't quite the same player as his prime self, averaging just 20 points per game, it was clear he could still contribute at a decent level. LeBron, meanwhile, was once again the MVP and led the Cavs to the top of the East. In the first round, they faced the New Jersey Nets, who had no business being there, but Derrick Rose managed to drag them into the playoffs. The Cavs made quick work of them, sweeping the series. The second round was a different story. They faced the Miami Heat, and the Cavs had something to prove. Revenge for the 2005-06 Eastern Conference Finals. The duo for LeBron and Arenas finally got revenge for that series and moved on to the Eastern Conference Finals. In the Eastern Conference Finals, the Cavs were matched up against the Boston Celtics, a team that had eliminated them in the previous years. Despite LeBron's MVP-level performance and Arenas contributing, the Cavs once again found themselves falling short to the Celtics. The Celtics took them down in a tough series, ending Cleveland's season once again. As LeBron walked off the court, many wondered, was this the end of his run in Cleveland?
In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
This time, LeBron's departure was different. He had already delivered the Cavs their long-awaited championship in 2007, but now with Gilbert Arenas showing clear signs of decline and the team no longer being a true contender, LeBron was hungry for more titles. He made the decision to leave Cleveland and join the Miami Heat. However, the circumstances were much different this time. LeBron had already proven himself with a ring and now sought more. He wanted a team that could compete year in and year out, and Miami offered the perfect situation. But the real question remained. Would LeBron's career play out the same way with this shift in trajectory? The Oklahoma City Big Three were now split into different teams in the East. Could LeBron still dominate the East in this new era, or would a new challenge rise up against him? If this video hits 25 likes, I'll drop a part 2